Hi, welcome back everybody to the Daily Cooking Show, to the Daily Cooking Stream. It is currently Wednesday, 5 p.m. EST if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this back at another time, hello. Hi, hope you've all been having a wonderful, beautiful day today. I see that we have all of my lovely little sous chefs in the chat. Hello to Trash Can Cat Mom, hello to Serena, hello to Jack, hello to Kaze, hello to Evergly, welcome on in, hello to J Type 327, hello, hello, hello. It's good to have all of you. I'm really excited about today's stream. We're going to be playing around with a new toy. We have a new toy, we have a new tool to play with. So I'm really excited to talk about that in just a moment. Also, hello to Audio Murphy, hello to Blobfish, and then we'll tell you happy birthday in an hour's time as well. Hi. Okay. So, everybody, welcome on in. We're going to be doing something today that we do all the time on the stream. We make tacos, we make salsa all the time. We do it at least, twice a month at this point. But today, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently today. Thanks to one of our lovely little chat members, I am now the proud owner, as you guys may have seen from last time, this massive, beautiful hunk of stone. This is my Molcajete, everybody. This is my mortar and pestle made from basalt. I think that's the kind of stone that it is. And it's coarse and it's beautiful. And we'll be making today, this is the story of the show almost, we'll be making a really, really beautiful salsa inside of the Molcajete. We're going to be doing a salsa verde in it. I have some really beautiful tomatillos that I'll show you in a second. But I actually probably should not lift this for an extended amount of time. Yesterday, I went through the painstaking process of curing it. So went at it with a bunch of rice and salt and washed it up really good so it doesn't flake off any stone when we actually get to using it today. So what is the beauty of a molcajete? Everybody, it is the difference between a grinding motion versus a slicing motion. The way that we made salsas before is we used a blender. And the issue with a blender is that it doesn't actually process the skins. Let's say your tomato skins or your tomatillo skins or your chili skins. It doesn't actually process it that well. All it does is it chops it up into small pieces and the blade doesn't catch on it too well. The beauty of a molcajete is the abrasion of it. You're actually able to properly grind it down and you're able to add things into the molcajete incrementally. So we'll do the garlic and then we'll do the chilies and then we'll do the tomatillos themselves. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of my ingredients for today's salsa verde. I have tomatillos. You don't necessarily have to do a salsa verde with tomatillos. You can do them with just like serranos or jalapenos or something. It is basically entirely up to you. But the tomatillos are going to give the whole thing a really nice robustness, very nice acidity, a very nice sweetness. We have some heat coming in from these jalapenos as well as a nice vegetal flavor. We have a nice sweetness coming in from the onion, and we have a lot of flavor coming in from some garlic as well. And then, of course, you can't really have a salsa or anything without a bunch of cilantro. So I have a big batch of fresh cilantro here. I'm gonna walk you through how to use this thing. Guys, I haven't used a molcajete in maybe 8 years. It has been 7 years since I've properly used one that can actually grind things down. So I'm really, really excited to get to it and actually show it off a little bit and see if I remember how to properly use one. We're going to get a really, really beautiful salsa out of it today. So I'm pretty excited about that. And also, by the way, if anybody has any questions during the cooking process whatsoever, it can be about this dish, it can be about anything else that you would like. I am here to teach you how to cook. Okay, next. Everybody, I have a new bag of masa. We're going to be making some homemade corn tortillas today as usual. We ran out of maseca, so we have now moved on. We have upgraded. This is the Masianda red masa. It's really, really good stuff. It just is red. They have a blue one, they have a red one, you can get yellow corn, you can get white corn. So our tortillas today, they're gonna have like a pinkish red hue to it as a result. And everybody should be making corn tortillas at home. You have no idea the difference between a freshly made home corn tortilla versus a store-bought one. It is the simplest dough in the world. It is just masa and water, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. I'm gonna show you how exactly easy it is to do. Jack asks, how many hours did I spend seasoning the molcajete? The answer is maybe about 3 hours in total. Seasoning it is rather just you trying to break off as much of the excess stone and clean it up so it doesn't flake off into your food, because the inside of it is a little too coarse. The inside is a little too abrasive, so it's going to end up giving everything like a gritty feel if you don't actually go through that process of seasoning it. Well, curing it rather. It's not seasoning it like you would a cast iron pan, it's not for flavor, it's so that you don't get little grits of stone inside. And then in my fridge at the moment, I have My shrimp that we'll be doing, we're going to be doing a really nice spicy shrimp with some chilies, with some garlic and some oregano as well. And that's going to be a taco, everybody. It's going to be really simple. It's going to be really delicious. But everything that we're doing today is going to be entirely from scratch. We're going to make some homemade tortillas. We're going to make this homemade salsa verde. I'm going to show you how we season. I'm going to show you how we cook the shrimp and everything. It's all going to be amazing. So, with that being said, everybody, are you ready? Is everybody ready? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. And also, if you haven't already done so, please check out my Patreon, !Patreon, in the chat, or you can just scroll down below. I'm looking to make the cooking streams full time, and to do that, I would need a little bit of help. So any and all support will be really, really appreciated. Okay, so everybody, the first step that we need to do for today is we're going to walk through the process of actually making the masa, making the dough for the tortillas. And again, I do want to emphasize, it is so easy, it is so consistent, well, maybe consistent is the wrong word, but it is easy, and compared to every other form of dough at home, making corn tortillas, you know, there is no kneading, there is no rolling out. You make the dough, you mix it, you press it, and you cook it. It is just about as easy as it can get. So, with that being said, let's begin. Let's go on over to my lovely cutting board. We don't actually need my cutting board at the moment. We're going to now just set up our tortilla making station. First thing that you need is a bowl that is slightly too large. The reason you want a bowl that is slightly too large is because in case the ingredients start overflowing when you start mixing it around, okay, you want it to be able to accommodate for that. So you don't want a bowl that perfectly fits your ingredients. Now, the reason why making a masa, making a homemade corn tortilla is so easy is because, also, El Falheimer, thank you, welcome on in, thank you for the sub. I'm going to show you how to feel for it. I'm going to show you how to feel for the hydration and make sure it's not too dry and it's not too wet. There's no exact weighing out things. We're not using, you know, cups, we're not using grams. I'm going to show you roughly how to go through the 1-to-1 ratio and then adjust the moisture content as needed, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do though, is I'm just going to set up a little station on a plate. Okay, this is the cup that I will be scooping things out with. It's not a measuring cup, guys. It's just a plain basic teacup. That's what I have here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a wooden spoon. And so, all we're really looking to do is we're going to take roughly a cup of masa and we're going to combine it with roughly a cup of hot water, not boiling. I find that the boiling water, it makes the tortillas a little gummy and it actually ends up drying it out. So I just use hot water from my tap instead. So, let's go ahead and get 1 cup of this bad boy inside. And again, I'm using the Masienda red corn masa harina. You can just use plain old maseka. It is essential though that the masa that you're using, that it says nixtamalized. It has to be nixtamalized corn flour. What is nixtamalization? Nixtamalization is the process in which they treat corn with something like lime or sometimes wood ash as well. And it changes the taste, it changes the flavor, and it also changes the nutritional value. Nixtamalization, it's not the same as just plain old cornmeal. So you can't just use cornmeal. You can't just use corn flour. It has to be nixtamalized corn flour, masa harina. Okay, so Serena Chess, I'm glad that I can spread the tortilla knowledge. Also, welcome on in, Liam. So everybody, once again, I'm just using roughly a cup, and you can tell this is not your plain old, you know, white or yellow corn flour here. It's got a lovely little red hue. I actually found that the taste of it isn't all that different from a white or yellow one. It's kind of mostly aesthetic. So we're going to roughly, and I do mean very roughly, measure it out. I'm just going to try my best to get my cup scooped in here. Unsuccessfully, actually. So we'll just do it over the bowl itself. Okay, and we'll do a little bit more than that. Okay, everybody, roughly a little bit less than 1 cup here. Okay, and we're not going for, actually I'm gonna do a little bit more than that because I wanna make enough tortillas that'll like last me tomorrow to make some breakfast with. And again, the beauty of making homemade corn tortillas, everybody, is you do not need to be super exact with these measurements at all. Okay, it's roughly a 1-to-1 ratio, but then I'm going to show you how to feel through the moisture, how to feel through the humidity, and how to adjust accordingly. So I'm adding in 1 cup of this, going inside, and before I forget, I'm actually just going to seal this away and put my masa harina away. Just so that I'm staying nice and organized because we are, of course, cooking at home. I have like these bag clips, but it is struggling to get on today. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to put it behind me. We might need some more just in case to actually adjust for the moisture of it. So, everybody, you can salt this. You can salt your masa harina. You can salt your tortillas. I actually like keeping mine completely unsalted. The reason why I like to keep mine completely unsalted is because I consider the tortilla to be the intentional bland base. I want my sauce, I want my meat, like the filling for the tacos. I want that to then season the tortilla on which it will rest. So you can theoretically add some salt if you would like, but to me, I like having that contrast of something bland and then something seasoned, and then they become the greater sum of its parts. Although a little bit of salt in here would be just fine too. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to my tap. I'm using hot water from my tap. Okay, I don't think you need boiling water from a kettle. That's the way that I used to do things. I don't think that's nearly, as necessary anymore. So some warm to hot water right from my tap. Excellent. And so I'm roughly using maybe about like the same volume of water to the flour, but I'm going to slightly undershoot it because it's easier to add more water than it is to add more masa harina. And so all I'm going to do, everybody, while I'm just stirring this gently, I'm just going to pour the majority of it in, and I'm going to save some water. Unsalted masa makes tortillas a little bit mushy for you. I'm not sure why that's the case. I feel like Elf Kingdom, that might just be that might be because of the amount of water that you would add. I can't imagine the salt would change the texture of it that drastically. But I also haven't experimented with it enough. I just know that like a lot of people, like traditionally, they don't do salt, in their tortillas. So everybody, all I'm doing right now, I'm just breaking up the clumps a little bit because all of these clumps, they're holding all of that water inside. And the beauty of using corn flour, the reason why I think everybody should be doing this at home, is everybody listening. I want a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. The reason why I think everybody should be doing this at home is because there is no kneading involved. All we're doing is we're mixing the water together, but there is no gluten because this is corn flour. Gluten is present in rye, it's present in wheat, it's present in buckwheat. There is no gluten in this, so there is no gluten to be developed. All that we need to do is combine this enough until it all just comes together. So all I'm doing is I'm scraping up the sides, I'm getting in there. I can already tell you right now that this is gonna be way too dry, so I'm gonna pour in the rest of this water. And we're just continuing to basically chop it up, break it down, nice and easy. But yeah, guys, there's no kneading involved with any of this, and that's the beauty of making this kind of food. Okay, I also forgot to turn on my air conditioner today. My kitchen's gonna get a little bit too warm, I apologize. 1 second. I'm so sorry, everybody. Sorry to just walk off frame for a second there. Okay, and I'm back. I forgot my AC remote in my room. Okay, sweet. Hi. So, we'll go ahead and put all of it back on in. And then I'm going to glove up now because we're now going to physically work with the dough. Although you don't necessarily, you know what, I'm not even gonna use a glove today. I'm just gonna use my hands. I'm gonna just use my hands. Let's go ahead and get all the masa off the spoon because we don't wanna waste anything. Okay? And now, let's just mix it together. And all you're really looking to do at this point, you're just looking to smush everything. You're looking to smush all those like little clumps that have formed. And remember, the beauty of this, guys, is because this is not a dough that has any form of gluten inside of it, right? Because of the fact that it is made with corn and not with wheat. You can't actually overmix this, but you can definitely undermix it. All you're really looking to do is fully hydrate all of your masa. Okay, so you're just pressing it, you're squishing out any of the existing lumps, and then soon enough, it's all going to come together. You can already see that it's forming a lovely ball. All right, and you're just going to go ahead and clean up the sides as needed. There you go. Get it all in there. Get it all in there, get it all combined beautifully. There you go. Yeah. It just comes together really easily, really quickly. If you feel like it's a little too crumbly, it's a little too dry, just mush it together. It will form into a lovely ball. And it is, right? It's a very beautiful color masa. This is, I'm using red corn. And corn comes in so many different varieties and color. This is, a little bit more of an, I don't like saying ancient grain because it's a bit of a buzzword, I feel like, right? But this is an older variety of corn. This is made by like a small farm, I believe. which is why I really, really like Hacienda and what they're doing with their farms and new programs. But yes, corn, you can get blue corn, you can get red corn, you can get yellow corn, you can get white corn. The maseca that I was previously using, I believe that would constitute as white corn. I actually don't find the flavor to be that different from different type of corn to corn. Yeah, I just don't find the flavor to be all that different. So I'm just combining it, I'm mushing it, I'm smashing it. You want to make sure that there is absolutely no lumps remaining in this, okay? It's not a pancake batter. You don't want any lumps. And this is so easy. You can even do this in a stand mixer if you would like. Just set up the hook attachment, and then once it's actually been combined enough, we're going to keep going at it because I want to be 100% sure that it's all thoroughly combined. All right? Look at this nice, delicious, supple dough that we have here. It might be a little bit too sticky that I'm feeling. At the moment, it might be a little too hydrated. I'm going to show you how we're going to test for that. So we're just picking everything up, we're smushing it down, we're smushing it all down. Beautiful. We're scooping it all back up. Does anybody have any questions about this process? And that is all that goes into making a homemade corn tortilla. Flour tortillas are a lot more complicated. They're not something that I like doing at home. But these bad boys, I would do these things every single day of the week. One more beer, Audio Murphy, I got you. So all of this just coming together beautifully. Pressing it down. I can already tell you with the way that this is sticking to the bowl, this might actually end up needing a little bit more masa. Jack, I'm going to show you how to test that in just a second. Okay, so take a look. This is roughly combined now. We have a ball of masa, excuse me. So all we're going to do is we're going to take off a little bit, and we're going to press it down. And what we're looking for is for it to not stick to our hands too much. I think I just had some extra dough on my hands. Let me just clean up my hands. What you're looking for it to do, you're looking for it to press down without any cracks, but you're not looking for it to stick to your hand. It shouldn't leave a significant residue. At most, it should leave like a very, very slight residue. Okay, so once again, let's go ahead and take a little ball of masa, and we're just going to go ahead and press it all down. Okay, and you can see it cleanly comes off of my hand. It doesn't stick. And when we press it even really, really thin, you can tell everybody, look, it's like Play-Doh. It has a nice smooth edge to it. And that's how we check. That is actually the perfect amount of humidity. If it was too wet, it would stick to your hand and leave a residue. If it was too dry, it would crack around the edges. But for me, this is actually the texture of the masa that I'm going for today. And that's it. That's all that we have to do for the dough. The only other step is going to be just letting it sit covered up in plastic wrap so the outside doesn't dry out. And we're going to leave it until we're ready to actually make the tortillas. And look at this beautiful ball of masa. This is my second time now working, with the red masa. So I'm still getting like a bit of a feel of it, of course. Just rolling it up into a nice little ball so that there's going to be no air in it or anything. Lovely. And now, let's go ahead and get some plastic wrap on it. And again, you can use a towel or something. I just like plastic wrap because it's really, really airtight and it ensures that nothing is going to dry out by the time that we're ready to use it. Okay, you do not want to leave this kind of a dough exposed. The outside, I mean, think of it as Play-Doh, right? That's all that there is to it. So I'm going to wrap it up. We're going to go ahead and kiss it goodnight, goodbye, and we're just letting it sit now. Does anybody have any questions about this process? That is all that we needed to do to form the dough for today's tortillas. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set that behind me. I'm going to take a second just to clean up my station. We're going to be making everything from scratch today. We're going to be making the shrimp from scratch. We're going to be doing the salsa from scratch. Every single component of today will be done entirely and thoroughly and fully from scratch, right? Because there's no corners cut. Nothing. We're not going to slack on anything. We're not going to be lazy with anything. We're going to do everything from start to finish as much as possible. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and clean up my station really quickly. Just once again, we no longer need this wooden spatula. We no longer need that spoon, that bowl, none of it. It has done its job for us today. Excellent. And then I also have some like masa on my fingertips and stuff, so I just want to quickly wash my hands off because it is a little bit unpleasant. And then everybody, we can begin talking about our salsa and our shrimp. So, everybody, One of the most fundamental and important tastes in all of Mexican cooking is going to be the element of the char, the smokiness. And a very nice way of adding char and smokiness is in our salsas. And so what we're going to do, all of the vegetables, my tomatillos, my serranos, my jalapenos, whatever, they're all going to go under the broiler, and we're going to build up a really, really beautiful charred outside on them. It's going to contribute a really nice smoky quality, and then it's going to give us the texture of the vegetables that we're looking for. A really good salsa verde in this way is basically half-cooked vegetables, half raw. You're preserving a lot of the aroma, a lot of the acidity of the raw vegetable, but you're getting a lot of the sweetness and a lot of the smokiness once they get a little bit more cooked. So what we're going to do now is process all of my tomatillos, all of my chilies, and everybody, it is so easy to do your own homemade salsas. Even if you don't have a molcajete like we have today, even if you don't have a molcajete, you can absolutely just do these kinds of salsas in a blender. That's what we've been doing this whole time. But today, I'm really, really excited to recreate that texture of the molcajete. The beauty of the molcajete, once again, because it grinds things, it doesn't chop them, it grinds them. We're able to give a lot of attention to things like seeds, like that the seeds may be inside of the chilies. We can give a lot of attention to things like the tomato skins without over-processing it. The beauty of a good salsa is its own heterogeneity. You don't necessarily always want the super creamy, super, homogeneous salsa. And if you do, you can just blend it. You can absolutely just use a blender. So a blender versus a molcajete, neither one is better than another. It just depends on what your intentions are. Can I please get a yes, chef, from everybody watching? Okay, so it's completely relative to your intentions. So let's go ahead and get all of the prep done that we need for today's salsa. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you right now. I already have my sheet tray ready to go. This is going to be the stuff that goes under the broiler. And I'm going to be setting my broiler on to high. Okay, the broiler is the top element of the oven. It is the one that's going to give us the char, the smokiness on the tomatillos, on the chilies, okay, on the garlic, on the onions, and it's going to be lovely. And so all we have to do now is we just have to process every single vegetable that we have for the salsa today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that going. I have this big, beautiful plate of vegetables here. Okay, so we have some tomatillos, we have some jalapenos, these red chilies, some of these are going to be used for the shrimp, and I might just add one into the salsa for fun, some onion, and some garlic. For the tomatillos, we need to go ahead and get rid of the core out of them. The core is a little bit woody. You don't see a lot of people do this. It's an optimization that I like to make. Jack, you'll... Okay. All right, Jack. The jalapenos are going to add a really nice spiciness. You can use any kind of chilies that you would like for this. Serranos would be fine too. Theoretically, if you don't want any heat in your salsa, you could replace it with a green bell pepper, although the heat is essential to a salsa, at least for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start by prepping my jalapenos. Go ahead and just set this aside. Lovely. And all that we really, really need to do for these, let me just check that nothing is in the oven. I don't think anything is in the oven. All that we... Ooh. Ow, I just kind of cut myself a little bit. Okay, all that we really need to do is we just need to cut the heads off of every single jalapeno. We can cut these in half and just take the seeds out if you would really, really like to. I don't think it's an entirely necessary step because I'm looking for the heat out of these jalapenos. Okay, so I'm just using my cute little paring knife here. Just cutting off all these heads. We have no use for them in today's salsa. I'm just going to go ahead and put it aside. The only thing I'm also going to check for, if the tips are a little too dried off or anything, you just want to give them a little feel and trim them off as needed, right? So something like that, and I'll be just fine. Okay, so I have these 4 jalapenos, and I might not necessarily be using all of them today for the salsa itself. We're going to basically be adding them in one at a time, and then we will be deciding whether or not we want to add in some more heat. In fact, I mean, yeah, sure. We're going to try all of it, and then we're going to decide how much we're going to end up using. We may only end up using 2 or 3 of these. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw these right onto my sheet tray. Okay, next, let's go ahead and move on to my tomatillos. So these tomatillos, you don't really want to eat these raw. They're not entirely interchangeable with tomatoes. Although if you wanted to make a salsa roja instead of a salsa verde, you would just use regular tomatoes instead. In fact, for your salsa verde, a lot of people, they don't even necessarily use tomatillos at all. They just make a salsa out of chilies. You don't, it's only if you want the taste of tomatillos. And so I'm going to do something. We're going to go through every single one of these, one by one, split them in half, so that we can then make a diagonal incision and cut the core core out, because the core of it is really, really woody. It has a very unpleasant texture, even when ground up by the molcajete. So this is not something that you see a lot of people traditionally do for their salsas, but this is a bit more of my own optimization that I like doing, okay? This is my own optimization, even if it's not authentic. I just don't love that texture on them. Okay, so we're just going through one of these one by one. And El Fajima, we will not be using any dried chilies today. Although, theoretically, you can. An ancho chili in here would be really, really good. Today, I am just showcasing the fresh chilies, the fresh jalapenos. So no dried chilies are needed for today's salsa, right? Because it's a very, very fresh salsa. Although, again, if you wanted to, you absolutely can. You can add a chipotle for like the added smokiness. You can add an ancho if you wanted some of like that deep raisiny taste. But that's just not what I'm really, really going for. Digging that improv? What are you asking? Wait, when did I improv, Tarina? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, and we're just going through every single one of these little tomatillos, one by one. And again, this step is not entirely necessary. This is only if this is the amount of effort that you want to put into something like this. So it's completely and totally up to you. Oh, my optimizing method? Well, I'm glad. I mean, I do this all the time with like tomatoes and tomatillos. I just think it's a really, really nice touch. And also it's kind of annoying. Around me, I only have available like these super tiny tomatillos. Typically tomatillos, they can be the size of a real proper tomato. But not these guys. These guys are tiny. Tiny and pathetic. But it's okay, because they'll still be delicious, they'll still be flavorful. Also, by the way, when you're buying tomatillos, I know that these were already peeled. When you buy tomatillos, they're gonna be wrapped in a leaf. Right? They're wrapped in like their own leaf. What you're looking for, you don't want the leaf on the outside to be a little too dry. You don't want the tomatillos to be, you don't want the leaves to be overly dry, because when it's overly dry, the flesh on the inside tends to be a little bit more wrinkly, it tends to be a little bit older. The leaf does protect the tomatillo really, really well, so you're looking for a fairly tight seal, and you're looking for like a vibrant green color on it, not too yellow and not too dark brown. And so, why do they come wrapped in the leaf but not tomatoes? I don't think tomatoes are naturally as sticky as tomatillos are. Tomatillos, they have the stickiness to them on the outside, and so the leaf does help protect them. I do think that that is the case, although I am not actually entirely sure. This is still a produce that I would like to get a lot more comfortable, something I'd like to get a lot more familiar with. Okay. Ooh. Okay, everybody, last tomatillo. Nice and trimmed up. We took our time. We were a little bit patient with it, and that's okay. Let's go ahead and just grab my sheet tray. I'm going to go ahead and throw everything onto my sheet tray. Does anybody have any questions about this process, about why we're doing anything thus far? And if not, that's totally okay too. It's going to be a really, really simple stream today. We're just going to be going super slow. We're going to be paying attention to all of our technique and doing the best job that we possibly can. Okay. There you go. That's all of my tomatillos, beautifully cut up and put onto my sheet tray. The next step that we're going to need to do is we got to get some garlic. And so what I really, really like about garlic and charring it is I love keeping the skin on. By intentionally keeping the skin on, you're protecting the garlic clove from getting overly charred. We're still imparting some of the smokiness. We're still getting some of the roasted garlic. Some jokes to make me laugh. Jack, just talk with me. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer your question. So we're not really looking to get the garlic skin off of the clove or anything, right? All we're looking to do is just get it off the grater head itself. I don't think you need my permission for that, Jack, but I don't really know how to answer your question. I'm sorry. That clove's a little too small anyways. Okay. Okay. So, Tarina Chess says, Chef, I don't have a tortilla press, but I tried using my neglected woodworking C-clamps to squeeze together 2 cutting boards. Yeah, that can work, although that does sound a little bit cumbersome. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to do with these garlic cloves, everybody, I'm keeping the skin on, but I'm just cutting off the bottom of every single clove, like these really, really dried out ends. We're just going to be gently cutting them off and making sure that we're still keeping the grater skin intact. Okay, because the garlic, this is the one vegetable that we want to make sure it doesn't char too much. It can get a little too acrid and make the whole salsa a little bit too bitter. So the skin is a very nice natural way of protecting it. Do you like the white version of shrimp tacos with coleslaw? With coleslaw? Has anybody made shrimp tacos with coleslaw? Now, you do typically see fish tacos and shrimp tacos, I believe, like more like a Baja style, like done with cabbage. So it's not an entirely white version to do that. But I don't think I've ever seen a shrimp taco with coleslaw. Zubu, do people do that genuinely? I don't know if they do. Okay, everybody, we have a quarter of an onion here. We're going to use a little bit more. This is just an old leftover onion that I've had. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the layers. I'm going to break up the layers and I'm going to scatter this along my sheet tray. Okay. Lovely. And we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this onion out. Again, I'm only really looking for a quarter of this onion. In this in total. For this entire salsa, we only need at maximum like half an onion. I don't like having too much onion in my salsas because I find that it makes it a little bit too sweet. So it's entirely up to you. There is no right or wrong way to do this. There is no objectively singular correct proportion. This is entirely up to you. So all I'm doing is I'm slicing the head off. We're going to need some of this onion later on, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and slice this lengthwise like so. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this one more time. Although, no, that's gonna be way too much onion. Yeah, we're only gonna need a quarter of this onion. Let's go ahead and put this behind us. And we're going to go ahead and cut the base of it off, and we're going to peel it really quickly. Right, just get rid of all that skin, and then we're also going to just scatter this along the sheet tray. And that is going to be all the components that need to get charred for today's salsa, okay? So just take that and scatter that along here. Lovely. And we might flip a couple of things. We might move some stuff around. We're going to take a peek on it after a few minutes. So everybody, this is the base of my salsa verde. Of course, it is currently missing the cilantro. The cilantro itself, we don't need it to be charred, but this is all going under the broiler. We want to get that smokiness. That is the core, that is the essence of a salsa like this, even if you're doing it in a blender. Okay, so yes, really good alternate method, Audio Murphy. You can't just use a cast iron. Traditionally, you would use a comal, right? You would just use a flat, big sheet of metal or so. Sometimes people line it with foil, and they would just char the outside of the vegetables. I really like doing it in the broiler, so it's a little out of sight, out of mind. Okay, and so we want to make sure it doesn't go in for too long. In total, it might take around, 6 minutes or so. We're looking for the tops of everything to get nice and charred and smoky. We're of course not looking for anything to catch on fire. We're going to go ahead and peel those garlic cloves after, and then I'm going to show you how to make a really wonderful salsa out of all of it. Does anybody have any questions? So, this is all going under the broiler right now. Excellent. Beautiful. And then every now and then, we're just going to take it out. We're going to give it a little rotation. And in the meantime, I'm also just going to once again clean up my station. Guys, today's stream might be really quick now that I'm thinking about it, because all we really have to do is, cooking the shrimp is only going to take a few minutes, really. We have to get all the stuff prepped for that. It's going to be really easy. We got to make the tortillas. This might be like an hour and a half long stream today, so maybe we should just slow down. And if anybody has any questions whatsoever, this would also be a really good time to ask me, because we're just waiting for all those vegetables to be charred. So let's think about everything else that we need to do and everything else that we've accomplished so far. Let's do a bit of a recap session. Is everybody paying attention? First, we made a really beautiful ball of masa. We made some dough for some corn tortillas. I used some really lovely, beautiful red corn flour, some red nixtamalized corn flour from Hacienda, and we're going to make some tortillas, and they will be used for the shrimp tacos. Currently in my broiler, I have a combination of onion, garlic, tomatillos, and jalapenos, and then we're going to be using this bad boy today. Although I probably should stop lifting it like this, we're going to be using this really beautiful molcajete, and we're going to be grinding down the salsa. And the beauty and the function of something like a molcajete, also salad, thank you so much for the sub. The beauty and the function of a molcajete is it is able to grind skin. It's able to grind the seeds down. Blenders, traditionally, they really struggle with actually processing things like tomato skins and the seeds, and they end up over pureeing things as well. The beauty of a molcajete is the amount of control that it gives you. So this is not necessarily better or worse than a blender. It is just going to give us a completely different textured product. So while the vegetables for it are charring, we're also going to be slicing up a bunch of cilantro for the salsa, because you can't have a salsa verde without sliced cilantro. And then we're going to be seasoning the shrimp. We're going to be doing a dry brine on the shrimp. We're going to be quickly cooking it with some chilies and some garlic. It's going to be really delicious, really simple. And that's going to be the taco. It's going to be the red tortilla. It's going to be this beautiful, juicy shrimp alongside this lovely, lovely salsa verde. So I'm really, really excited about it. So at the moment, the vegetables for the salsa are charring. They're getting there. They're getting to exactly where they need to be. How heavy is the mortar thing? The answer is extremely heavy. And every now and then, all that we actually want to do, Jack, I have nothing to say to you. Every now and then, all we want to do is we just want to check on the broiler. And we want to check on all those vegetables because the goal is we want to make sure that everything is evenly and consistently charring. Okay, so as you see, the tomatillos, the jalapenos, everything is slowly getting there. I'm just giving everything a rotation. Guys, if you are new, please use your tongs and not your hands. And then I'm going to give the whole thing a 90-degree rotation when it goes back inside because I want to make sure that everything has some time in the sun. Everything is getting nice and smoky here, okay? Audio Murphy, me too, buddy, me too. Although I don't really know the relevance. Is it because I was holding up the molcajete? Okay, let's go ahead and have a little sip of water. You know what? Oh, how am I going to celebrate 100K on Twitter? I don't know if I'll get 100K. We'll see what happens, Slippy. Okay, so really quickly, I just want to show you guys my shrimp. I don't actually have a lot of shrimp today. This might be only enough for 2 tacos or so, because I was kind of shooting to have like 3 shrimps like chopped up per taco. So please excuse me. Let's talk about my shrimp for a moment. I know this isn't a very pretty picture, but you know. Guys, this was originally frozen shrimp. If you are in the United States, I need everybody to tap in right now. I need everybody to lock in. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, if you're all listening. If you were in the United States and you did not buy the shrimp live and killed, typically speaking, this shrimp, if you buy it unfrozen at a seafood counter, was unfrozen. The reason we buy frozen shrimp is, first of all, A, it's sometimes a little bit cheaper, and B, it's fresher than the already thawed out shrimp in the counter. Okay? So you want to look for something called IQF shrimp, individually quick frozen shrimp, not block frozen shrimp. Individually quick frozen means they're all in individual pieces. Block frozen means they're all in a big block of ice. And then the way that we defrost it is under some running water. And that is the shrimp that we will be using for today. Okay? We will not be using pre-thawed shrimp. This was shrimp that I thawed out for the stream today. All right? It is fresher and is a little bit cheaper. It is just a better product overall. Also, welcome on in, Possum. So, we're going to give the shrimp a little bit of a dry brine. You don't need too much, and sometimes they do already add salt to it, so it might already be salted, so you do want to be careful of that. But we're going to dry brine it. We're going to hit this with a good amount of salt, and what that's going to do is it's going to give us a really, really juicy piece of shrimp, the same way that we dry brine things like chicken and so forth. Okay? But again, we're not going too heavy because I think this one might have been packed with some salt. So just some salt on the outside of each of my shrimps. Okay, lovely. And now all I'm going to do is, I guess I'll just use some chopsticks for this. I think that'll be just a fine tool for the job. And then you want to dry brine things like shrimp, maybe like at least like 20, 30 minutes in advance. And then at maximum, you don't really want to hold it more than 2 hours because then for something as thin and as tiny as shrimp, it can really, really start to dry it out. Okay? So I'm just using some chopsticks to flip it over. I think that'll work just fine. And again, I do wish I had a little bit more shrimp, but this should be fine for my portion of tacos today. Okay, and then I'm just going to salt this up a little bit more. Just on the tops. And that salt is going to penetrate. It's going to increase the moisture retention of the shrimp. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly throw this back on into the fridge. And you want to dry brine things, be it like beef or chicken or whatever, at least a few, with like really thick cuts of meat, you want to do it a few hours in advance. With something like seafood, you only need a little bit of time. Okay, let's go ahead and go back on over to the stove. Let's go ahead and take a look at how my sheet tray of charring vegetables is going. Under the broiler, they're all getting nice and beautifully smoky. That's what we're looking for. Take a look. Take a look. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and give everything a nice little rotation once again, and then we'll throw it back on into the oven. But right now, all I'm going to do, once again, I'm using my hands because I'm not very intelligent. We're just going to flip my jalapenos around. Ow, that does hurt, but that's okay. Beauty is pain after all. I'll get over it. These onions aren't actually getting that much color on it, but that's okay. That's fine. I would like them to get a little bit more though. Okay. The tomatillos are looking pretty good. The tomatillos we can definitely push a little bit further. So we went ahead and we flipped them over, and now we're going to give the sheet tray yet another rotation, and back into the oven it all goes. Lovely. And we're just babysitting this. We're not doing anything else too much. Okay. We're not like juggling too many tasks. You can definitely overchar it. You don't want it to start turning gray. You just want like it nice and blackened on the outside. And once again, the beauty of the molcajete is it's going to be able to grind down the skins of those jalapenos and stuff. So we're just being nice and patient. We're giving that a second. And I think the next thing that we're actually going to do is we're going to do the process of making the tortillas. And then we'll do all the chopping. We'll make the salsa and everything. We'll do all the other prep that we need to for today. So let me go ahead and get my station ready to go ahead and make some really, really beautiful tortillas. Okay, I'm going to move my cutting board. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way now. So everybody, for making homemade corn tortillas. Also, Jack, that's a very complicated question. I've been dealing with people for a very long time. So, everybody, to make homemade corn tortillas, I highly, highly recommend investing in a good corn tortilla press like so. The beauty of a nice heavy tortilla press is they're able to press them down really, really evenly. Previously, I had a very thin aluminum tortilla press. You can get a cast iron one, you can get a powder coated steel one like this. I really do not recommend the aluminum ones. You can even get a wooden one. Okay, so getting a nice corn tortilla press, it has really, really increased the consistency of it. And then the next thing that we're going to need, actually I'm going to go ahead and pull out my vegetables. I'm pretty confident that they're done now. So we're just going to take them out now. Yeah, that's plenty good. Beautiful. That is what I'm looking for out of my charred vegetables. Let's go ahead and kill that heat in the broiler. Lovely. I'm going to go ahead and just set all of this aside. Okay, the next thing that we're going to need, everybody, is we're going to need a really, really nice piece of steel. I have my carbon steel pan. Let's just go ahead and get rid of some of the little, chunks there. I have my carbon steel pan. You can theoretically just use a nonstick pan for something like this. I know a lot of people that do. You can use a cast iron pan for this. I'm just looking for something that can hold a good amount of heat. Okay, so again, in the past I was like, oh, you can only do a carbon steel pan. I've seen people have some really, really successful tortillas with a nonstick pan. The next thing that we need to do, everybody, we need to set up the tortilla steaming station. This is one of the most essential parts that you cannot skip out on at all. You need to steam your tortillas after they're done cooking, and you do that with either a tortilla warmer or, in my case, using a towel. So what we're going to do, whenever a tortilla gets done cooking, it's going to go into this bowl, and then we're going to wrap the stack of tortillas using this towel. Okay, nice clean kitchen towel, something food safe, ideally speaking. Right, I don't think that has to be said, but just in case it needed to be said. Okay, and so that, we're going to make sure that it is nicely and beautifully set aside somewhere. For us to then use. I'm just creating a little bit of space on my table, a little bit of space on my working surface. Okay, does anybody have any questions about this process so far? I'm going to go ahead and have a nice little sip of water. And now let's go to the masa. So the masa, the corn, we wanted to at least let this sit for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. At that point, nothing really else happens to it. We're just looking to fully hydrate it. So something that I've gotten in the habit of doing, something that I've really, really started to like doing, is I like to pre-measure all of my balls, watch it, so that I'm not like always going into the dough and then shaping one out. So all that I'm going to do now, we're going to go ahead and roll this around. We're going to get it nice and even. And I don't use maseca anymore. This is the masienda nixtamalized corn. We're going to go ahead and just try to get this into one even ball or so. Just, this is for shaping reasons, okay? Get that into one even ball. And then we're going to just take the whole thing. We're going to mark it just to make sure that that is directly down the middle. And then we're going to use my bench scraper. Another really, really nice way to use a bench scraper is for stuff like this, by the way. And just cut it in half. Okay, and then we're going to roughly take a look at them. We're going to hold them in our hands. I think that is about, as split as it can be. I'm not really loving the color when it looks like this. Don't ask me any more questions about it. Let's go ahead and just cut these in half one more time. And in total today, I'm looking to yield about 8 tortillas out of this red corn dough. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this up into a ball. And typically the difference in different masakas would be, you know, one of them is yellow corn, one of them is white corn. Okay. Just going ahead and rolling every single one of these up into a ball. And then we're going to cut them in half one more time. Okay, because it's a little bit easier when they have a more consistent shape to cut them in half again. Lovely. There we go. And now, and again, I'm no longer like weighing out every single one. I've realized that that step wasn't actually as important as I made it out to be in the past. Okay. And let's go ahead and roll every single one of these up into a ball. I'm not sure in that case, Possum. I'm not entirely sure. There you go. So yeah, we're looking for like golf ball ones, right? And the smaller they are, the smaller the tortillas are going to be after all. The bigger they are, the bigger the tortillas are going to be. In the meantime, by the way, I'm going to be heating up my carbon steel pan on a medium-low flame. One of the biggest mistakes that I've realized that I was making in the past is that my heat was way too high. We're looking for a low, medium flame. And we're heating it up slowly so that the carbon steel slowly and evenly heats on up. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Would I recommend getting one of those bench scrapers? Absolutely, everly. It is one of the most important pieces of kitchen equipment. I love cleaning up my cutting board. Robin asks me, what is the value of using a molcajete for salsa as opposed to a blender or a food processor? Beautiful question. Molcajetes have an incredible tendency to grind things. It still it grinds skin and it grinds the seeds. And then it also really lets you control which parts you're really processing. The issue with a blender is to really chop down things like seeds and tomato skins, you'll end up really over pureeing it and then end up getting something that is a bit more of a soupy consistency. So blenders are good if you're looking for really creamy salsas, but molcajetes are, you know, the king of actually getting properly like ground salsas that are a little bit heterogeneous. So it's not that it's better or worse, it is that it is a different product altogether. It is a different product that is a different texture, and also, guess what? It's fun to use. Okay, so these are all of my golf balls. Some of these are a little bigger than others, so I'm just going to give each of them like a little adjustment. How will you grind? That's right, Audio Murphy. I mean, you're absolutely correct, right? This is one of the most ancient ways of cooking, using a mortar and pestle, using a molcajete, you know. Yeah, well, Jack, here's the thing. Tortilla chips, they're made from cooked tortillas. So absolutely, you just make those out of stale tortillas. Okay, so take a look, everybody. These are all of my tortillas that I'll be making today. I'm only going to be making 8 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and put them back on into, or rather, I'm just going to wrap them up so they don't touch the old dough. And yes, that's what I do with my leftover tortillas. The reason why I love having tortillas in my fridge at all times is because the leftover ones, as you guys saw, I mean, we made tostadas that one time, right? We made like the chicken tinga tostadas, and they were delicious. They were incredible. So I love tortillas because even when they're stale, they can be transformed into something absolutely beautiful. So these bad boys, we're still keeping them wrapped up in the plastic, right? And we just portion them out, right? We're just making sure that we have a nice tight seal on all of it. Okay? Making tortillas is incredibly rewarding, Elliot. Absolutely. I'm just making some space on my table once again. Okay, everybody. And now it is time for the great tortilla pressing. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch this around. Well, Jack, you can theoretically use fresh corn tortillas for tortilla chips. It's just they splash less when they're stale because they're a little bit drier. So I wouldn't recommend just like making fresh ones because they're a little bit more wet, they're a little bit more steamy, they're really flexible. Yeah, I would say at least dry them out or so. Okay, everybody. So you want to have something like a Ziploc freezer bag, you want something like a shopping bag. Okay, that would be my recommended tool of choice here. And the reason that you want this is because otherwise it's just going to end up sticking to your tortilla press, right? So traditionally people would use something like a shopping bag. And so that's what I have here basically. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab one ball of my masa. I'm just going to roll it up one more time. I'm making sure that my plastic is keeping everything nice and tight and dry. I'm going to place it right in the center, and what's really nice about this one is it measures it up for me. And we're going to just place it down, place it right here, and then everybody, so this is something that I've learned, by quickly pressing it, you end up with a very uneven tortilla. I've realized with a little bit of trial and error that doing a slow press all the way down gives you a bit more of an even press. And then we're going to give the whole thing a bit of a rotation, just like so. And then we're going to just very, very lightly tap it down. And that, everybody, is going to be the tortilla that we have for today. I think I might have made this one a little bit too large. We've had my carbon steel preheating this whole time on a nice medium-low heat. Okay? I've realized one of my biggest mistakes has always been overheating my pan. By overheating it, you're drying it out too much. And hopefully, chat, press 1 if you think we're going to get a good tortilla puff. You want the tortilla to puff when we do the third flip, because that way the inside really, really steams through and it separates. Okay, Jack is being a bit of a hater, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and see. And so, what I'm going to do, we're looking to put it down for 20 seconds aside. Okay? So I'm going ahead, I'm grabbing my phone. I'm going to be setting a stopwatch. All right? And then what I'm going to do, everybody, really, really quickly, I'm going to show you. Actually, let me just show you the stove camera as well while we're at it. We're going to go ahead and grab the tortilla by taking off the plastic, peeling it off just like so. I'm setting the timer on my phone. I'm paying attention to when I put it down. We've got a very slight sizzle and we put it down at 40 seconds. And so we want to cook this for about 20 seconds on this first side. And then we're going to go ahead and flip it over and it's going to be great. Let's go back to the stove. Chat, I'm nervous. I hope it works out. A few more seconds. 23, 24. Whoop, I ended up touching the hot pan. It's slipping off my spatula today. Okay, get back on there. We put it down at 33. Give that another 20 seconds. Nice, gentle, slow heat. Okay? My biggest mistake in the past was always overheating these things. And by overheating them, they won't actually properly puff. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Please, for the love of God, I am begging you, please steam and puff today. Today is the day, perhaps. It'll take a second. It's a little bit shy. Are we not puffing in the slightest? Is it completely deflated? Is it deflated? I'm losing it, chat. This one is completely and utterly not puffing. That might be the worst puff that we've ever gotten, and perhaps lack thereof. It's not puffing. No, it's not puffing. Okay, so let's diagnose. What happened here? I have no idea. I don't really have an answer for you. I'm not entirely sure why it didn't puff this time. I might have kept it too long on that first side. I don't know. All right, I'm just doing the second flip just to make sure it's fully cooked through. It's not going to be perfect because it's not steamed through. You need that puff to make sure that it aerates from the inside out. It is puffing a little bit along these edges, which is nice. Actually, let me just flip it over one more time. It is a little bit. It is a little bit around the edges, okay? Maybe I undercooked it? Oh no. Guys, is today going to be another tortilla failure stream? Why is it puffing on the fourth flip? Did I just undercook this thing? Oh my God. Okay, well, you know what? Chat, it has flipped. It has puffed, excuse me. That is a decent puff. That is a good puff. Oh my goodness. That is what we're looking for. That is a nice puffy tortilla. I like them puffy. Sorry. That's good. That's good. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and pull this off. Oh, chat, that was so good. Oh, and we're going to put it into the bowl with a towel on it. Oh, we got a late puffer. It's fine. It's totally okay. It happens to the best of us. Chat, we did it. We got a good puff. We got a good puff. We just had to be patient. We just had to be nice and patient with it. That's what I call a puff daddy. That's right, Audio Murphy. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, guys, we've had so many failed tortillas. We've had so many failed tortillas, and we finally got a good puff. That felt good. That felt good. Oh, I needed a win. Guys, life has been hard. I needed a win today. I am fixed. If my tortillas didn't puff, I would have sulked and have been depressed the rest of the day. And guess what? Even if it is just one that puffed, I'm going to be okay. We're all going to make it. We're all going to make it, everybody. Life is going to be okay. Let's go ahead and press down the next one. The win came from impatience. How poetic. Enough, Taza. Let's go ahead and flip that around and give that another little pressing, just the slightest of taps. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and now, once again, peel off that top. Lovely. And I'm going to go ahead and set that timer, and I'm paying attention to when it actually goes down. I touch the pan. It went down at 3 seconds. Okay, it went down at 3 seconds. And so that means we're going to go ahead and flip it at 23. Or rather, start flipping it at 22. Because I'm going to be really, really exact with my timings today. I want a good puff. And you can see, okay, wait, actually, we can see nothing. We flipped that over at 25, so we're going to put that on for another 20 seconds or so. Aren't these very pretty tortillas? Guys, look how easy it is to make homemade corn tortillas. We're just being very careful with the time. But we're being careful. We're giving it a lot of love. We're giving it a lot of affection still. Okay. 43, 44, 45. Come on. Up you go. And now, sometimes pressing down the edges helps to ensure a nice, even puff. And so guys, last time, it didn't properly puff because we weren't patient enough with it. But now, I'm seeing those bubbles start to come up to the top. I think that's enough heat. I don't know. I think it might be enough heat, actually. Something came off of it. Okay, you know what? It puffed a little bit more when we cooked it more on that second side. I'm wondering if I'm just undercooking the second side. I'm wondering if that's actually just what's happening here. We're going to do a double flip. All right. So we let it go a little bit on that side. I think my second side might be undercooked and it's not forming a proper seal as a result. And now when we put it down, again, hopefully, we give it a little pressing. Is this one just deflated? Is this one dead? Is this one gone, chat? This one might be nothing. That's okay. That's fine. I do think I'm undercooking it. I think that's all that's happening here. That's chill. That's fine. I'm undercooking it. I might be doing 25 seconds now instead of 30, or instead of 20. And then we'll just see how it goes at this temperature, because it's not getting that much color or anything. Okay, that's fine. We'll adjust. I figured out my key temperature as well. Okay, we're going to try a few more seconds longer next time. So this one, we got some nice micro bubbling on it. Ooh, it's hot. But that's not the puff that we were looking for on it. And that's okay. We're going to go ahead and adjust. We're going to just adjust. We're going to keep on moving, guys. All right. Back to this. Let's go ahead and roll out the ball. But yeah, that wasn't the kind of bubbling, that wasn't the kind of puffing that we wanted on it. But that's totally okay. We just pop it down a little bit. Hello to Annie. Welcome on in. Hello, hello. Yeah, I have a feeling that my heat is just too low. That's all. And give that a little rotation. Let's go ahead and press that bad boy back down. Lovely. And I'm gonna just stop my previous timer. Excellent. Let's go ahead and grab my tortilla once again, just peeling it back like so. Excellent. And now that went down at 2, so it's going to take 20 seconds. Back to the stove. I've never had red tortillas. Are they different from yellow, white corn in taste and texture? I've actually found them to be pretty identical in terms of taste and texture. I've not observed there to be a significant difference in my experience. Okay, and go ahead and pick that bad boy up. And it's just not sticking at all. It's really, really nice. That went down at 27. We cooked that for another 20 seconds. Guys, I'm looking to get perfect tortillas today. I'm not messing around when it comes to my tortillas. Okay? And I'm starting to see some really, really light puffing around the edges. That's really, really nice. Hopefully, chat, is this gonna be the one? Is this gonna be the one to flip? Or to puff rather. Not rupturing at any of the edges. Putting it down. Leaving it hopefully for at least 20 seconds or so. I'm seeing that center puff. I'm seeing those edges puff. Good boy. Yes. Yes. Give it a little rotation. Yes. Oh, okay. Not a perfect puff. Not the perfect puff yet, But it's absolutely getting there, everybody. We're slowly getting there. Okay, I think I adjusted my temperature. I think we got exactly what we wanted out of it this time. All right, we're getting there. We're developing it, right? We're getting better at this process. Put it back down. And that steam, again, the intention, the point is it's supposed to cook it from the inside out. If you do not do this process, it's going to not be fully cooked through, okay? It is essential that it'll be still edible if it doesn't puff, but it's not going to be optimal. And I'm going back into the bowl with the towel. Guys, wait, hold on. Everybody, I want you all to understand. Look at my tortillas. Look at these things, huh? Beautiful. Look at that color. Look at that color. Let's put them back into that bowl. Let's keep them steaming with that towel on, okay? Beautiful. Guys, are you excited for today's tacos? Are you excited for them? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, I think I'm getting more and more confident with this process, which I'm very, very happy about. Because I've had some tortilla failures as of late, and so I'm just happy for things to be going okay now. Come on. In you go. Lovely. Let's give that a nice little rotation. Excellent. And we're just going to give this a little tap down. Ooh, nipurasu. I hope it goes well for you. Let me know how it goes. You should post it in the Discord, in the Daramgar cooking Discord. I don't know if you remember it. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and lift it off. Lovely. And I'm just resetting my timer, starting it up again. And that has to go on for a total of 20 seconds yet again. And we are halfway done through the tortilla making process. Everybody, I hope you are okay with the repetition of all of this today. I know this might not be the most exciting process in the world. I do apologize. Oh, wait, where is my fish spatula? Gasp, we almost overcooked it. There you go. On it all goes. And you can see it's just gliding. It is not sticking to this carbon steel pan at all. Wow, it's got a beautiful glide to it. I actually forgot the time that I put it down on. Uh-oh. Well, we'll cook it for a few more seconds. 5. And I think that should now be enough. No, I bent it. Please be okay. Please tell me you're going to be all right, buddy. No, I broke the edge on it slightly. Wait. Oh, okay. We're just tapping down the edges with my towel here. It's puffing in the center. Okay. Is this an optimal puff? No. But is it going to be okay? It'll be okay. Just give it a second to come back up. It'll be all right, this one. Slippy? I'm not answering that question. Longer than I should be is the answer. Okay, it's not going to puff anymore. It's okay. I think I also made this one accidentally too thick. This one might be too thick. No, but we're looking for like a dramatic center puff is the thing. Right? We're looking for it to go all the way up. Microplastic masa. My favorite. Okay, I think I ended up overcooking this one slightly, and I didn't actually press this one as thin as I could have. This was a lot of masa for this one. Okay, just going back into my tortilla boiling station. Back to this. Well, pita breads are a little bit different, right? Because pita is leavened. This has absolutely no leavening. This is just corn and water. Oh, wait, excuse me. Go ahead and take that bad boy, put him down. Okay, got a nice press. Go over here, give that another press, everybody. But yeah, this has absolutely no leavening agents whatsoever. That is the beauty of a corn tortilla. It is able to do all of that and more, even without baking soda or baking powder or anything, right? It's just by purely trapping the steam, trapping the bubbles, trapping the moisture inside. It's able to do all of that and more. Okay, we set that down at 2. We're going to go ahead and let it go for 20 seconds. I'm just going to go ahead and put my next tortilla into the plastic, back to my stove. So this one I made sure to press a little bit thinner than the others. And now I'm going to go ahead and try my best to lift it up, Put it down at 25, let it go for another 20 seconds. And you can just see it's just gliding around that pan. That is a nicely heated carbon steel pan. Okay? If you underheated it, it would be sticking, right? Okay. A few more seconds. And everybody, we got liftoff, I think. Let's go ahead and give that edge a little bit of help. It is puffing a little bit in the center. Yeah, we're getting it. Slowly but surely. Okay. But it's not like perfect though. I want the whole thing to just come up. Ooh, ow, I just burnt my fingers pretty badly. That I do not recommend doing that, guys. That really hurt. Okay. Yeah, we got puffing all the way around though, so that's okay. Ah! Ow. Not happy about that. Okay. All right, and let's go ahead and just take that off. You see, I'm getting more confident about using my hands. It's been a good batch today, guys. I'm getting better at this process. All right, I'm getting better at it, slowly but surely. We have a few more tortillas to go to continue to perfect the Daramgar methods. All right, so I think something I need to stop doing, by the way, I think I'm kind of folding it when I flip it. I really want to make sure that I'm flipping it like perfectly, right? Instead of like bending it slightly. We have 3 more tortillas to get done for today. Just wrapping up the other masa in plastic. Hello, Lily Krim. Welcome on in. We're getting done with the tortillas, and then we're going to do a recap session after. Everybody enjoying the stream so far? Is everybody learning things? Okay. There you go. That's the next tortilla ready to go now. Beautiful. Let's reset the clock. Let's go ahead and just pick it up. Excellent. Start the timer. Come on, get off my hand. Thank you very much. Okay. Excellent. Back to the stove. Vaushred again. Hello. Welcome in, everybody. We're making some tortillas, some corn tortillas. We're doing everything from scratch. Actually, everybody that's coming in from the rain, you're going to want to stay because we're going to be making a salsa and a molcajete today. You're going to want to stay. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody that just came in. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching right now. Please and thank you. Also, Gisoli, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Thank you, thank you. That's very sweet of you. We're going to be making homemade shrimp tacos today. We're currently making homemade corn tortillas using this really, really beautiful corn, this nixtamalized corn flour from Hacienda. And now we just flip that over. I think I bent it a little bit too much. Chat, are we going to get a puff? Let's find out. Let's just press down on the, ooh, look at that puff. That's the kind of a puff that's the puff. We got the rain and we got the puff that we're looking for. No leaveners, no baking soda, no yeast, nothing. Purely with the magic of corn and water, we're getting this amount of puff. Now, is it ideal? No, these edges are still a little bit missing. But that's a good puffy boil right now. Chat, also, thank you so much for the gifted, for the prime sub, Thuralk. Thank you, thank you. Let's go ahead and give that a nice little flip skis. That's the kind of tortillas that we're looking for today, everybody. When it puffs like that, it gets nice and steamed inside out. It gets cooked through all the way. And I'm gonna brag to you in a second. I'm gonna show you how beautiful my stack of tortillas really is. Hot. That is a hot tortilla, my goodness. I'm gonna show you these tortillas, guys. Let me show you these things. I need all of you. Oh, guys, thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for the prime subs. Oh my goodness. Whoa, we got a bit of a hype train. Thank you, thank you. Everybody, look at these corn tortillas. Look at these tortillas. Look at this beautiful stack of homemade corn tortillas. You know what a store-bought corn tortilla can't do? Look at this, look. Can your store-bought corn tortilla do that? No, because they're rubbery and they're dry and they're essentially inedible. The beauty of homemade fresh corn tortillas, look how flexible it is. Look how pliable it is without breaking, without fracturing. Okay? Well, maybe that one fractured a little bit, but I was pretty aggressive with it. That is the beauty of a homemade corn tortilla. Homemade corn tortillas, they're fresh and they're delicious, and there's only 2 ingredients, just corn and water. There's no other preservatives, okay? They're kept so delicious, they're kept so warm in that lovely little steamer. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, they're gonna hold a lot of shrimp. Guys, we're making shrimp tacos, and then we're going to be doing some salsa in a molcajete. We're going to be making some salsa. I'm gonna show it off to all of you. And this bad boy right here. Okay, and I'm gonna be walking you through that process. So we just have 2 more tortillas left to go. Dude process, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Thank you, it's very sweet of you. You guys are so sweet. Okay, let's go ahead and press that down. Lovely, let's go ahead and give that a nice 90-degree rotation. You can't eat shrimp, well that's okay, but you can eat corn and salsa. All right, so it's still a stream for you. Okay, let's go, dude process. Whoa, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. Thank you. That's really, really sweet of you. Can you make corn tortillas with canned corn? Probably not. I don't think so. You need nixtamalized corn, unless you find canned nixtamalized corn. Have I ever made focaccia bread? Yes, I have, a long time ago though. Not anytime recently, because what I teach you is home food. Okay guys, going down onto my hot pan for 20 seconds. Also, oh my God, thank you for the gifted sub, Slippy. Thank you. I don't think that one's gonna come out too well, because I got a little too excited. I didn't put him down that well onto the pan. 20 seconds each side, flip it over, and hopefully we'll get a nice good puff. All right, 21, 22, and 23, lift it off gently. Uh-oh. I don't think this one's gonna come out that well, guys. I kind of messed up on it. I ended up like poking a hole in it a little bit. This one is no good. And it'll be funny if this one just comes out better than all the others, you know. But I don't think this one's gonna be it today. Okay. Also, thank you so much for Dosky. Thank you so much for all the gifted subs. Oh my goodness. And in fact, we actually do have a very good puff going for us at the moment. No, that's wonderful. That's a really, really good puff, guys. Dosky, thank you so much for all the gifted subs. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. We just got rated once again. Okay, guys, that's a good puff. That's what we're looking for out of this bad boy. Let's make sure that we don't overcook it, though. Just flip it back over onto this side for a few seconds more. It'll deflate. It'll go back down. That's okay. Thank you, guys. You guys are so sweet to me today. Thank you. You guys have been pretty wonderful. And we have one last tortilla to get done. I think this one, my heat ended up being a little too high. It ended up heating up a little too long, so I'm just going to turn it down slightly. Dude, I appreciate it. That's very kind of you. Everybody, we got one last tortilla on the agenda. And then we're going to make the salsa, and then we're going to go ahead and cook the shrimp. Let's press it out. Everybody, I hope I have convinced you all to start making your own homemade corn tortillas. They fit into a home routine exceptionally well. Stale corn tortillas, you can make chilaquiles, you can make tostadas out of it. You can go ahead and fry it into tortilla chips. The fresh ones make incredible, incredible tacos. Dude, thank you for another 5 gifted subs. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. That's very sweet of you. Let's go ahead and press all of that down. Dude process, this tortilla rather, is in your honor. It is now being done in your name. I don't know exactly what that will entail, but we'll find out. And press it all down. Lovely. And to Dosky as well, and everybody else that gifted. Thank you. Okay, guys, let's head back to the stove. And you can't just eat the tortillas. You can't just eat them with salt, right? Let's go ahead and get this last bad boy on down. Nice, that was a good contact that time around. And now that just has to go for 20 seconds, guys. Okay, nice and easy. And that's it. That's all that we really needed to do for the homemade tacos. For the homemade tortillas, rather, excuse me. And then we'll do a bit of a recap session. And we'll move on to the next thing, which is going to be grinding down the salsa. So I'm really, really excited for that. Let's go ahead and go in here and give this all in. No! Okay, I think we salvaged it. I messed up on my flip quite a bit, though. That's okay. Can it come off? Is it stuck? It's okay. It's all right. Not ideal, not perfect, but it's fine. It'll be all right. Whew. Also, thank you so much for the gifted bits. Thank you, Annie. That's really, really sweet of you. Okay, and let's go ahead and pick this up one last time. Put that bad boy back on down. Is this one gonna puff? Yes, it will. Well, at least slightly. I see some slight puffing in the center. Let's give it some help. Pat it down. It's a slight puff. Today's a slight puff kind of day, and that's okay. That's totally all right. It happens to the best of us. Nice firm presses. Okay. It's got slight puffing, so it'll be okay. I think I made that one a little accidentally too thick once again. Everybody, That's it. That's all that we really needed to do today for the homemade tortillas. Just giving a little bit of extra time on that second to make sure that it is fully and completely cooked on through. And then the final stage is going to be the steaming stage, where it sits into my bowl. Everybody, come take a look. This is my stack of homemade corn tortillas. And not a single one of them was a complete failure. Every single one of these guys puffed to some extent. Look at these things. Look at them. Completely beautiful, completely homemade. This is the epitome of home cooking, everybody. That is my stack of homemade, delicious, flexible, pliable, ow, it is hot, ow, corn tortillas. And I'm just wrapping them up with a towel because they have to steam through to keep them warm and to get the final cooking done. And I'm going to just keep that here until we're ready to use them and ready to eat them. And everybody, that's all that we had to do for them. That was the homemade corn tortillas. And now, we're about to move on to the most exciting portion. Everybody, we're making shrimp tacos completely from scratch. We made those tortillas from scratch, and it is now time to do a salsa. So, could you use a blender, theoretically speaking? Oh, absolutely you can. But a blender is not going to grind down the seeds and the tomato skins nearly as well, and a molcajete is going to give us a lot more control. The only other step that we need to do is we need to get the cilantro done. So I know, guys, I know you want to see the molcajete. I know that you want to see this process so bad. This is something that you want to wait for. Just give it 1 second. We just have to go ahead and mince up some cilantro. The cilantro is not going to get ground into the salsa food today, but we are just going to go ahead and slice them up. So I'm going to go ahead and take a nice generous amount of cilantro, because you can't have a salsa verde without cilantro. Slippy, you eat it at room temperature. There is no, you can eat it hot, you can eat it at room temperature, you can eat it cold. It is whatever temperature that you want to serve it at. Typically, when it's done, you serve it. Okay? So all I'm going to do for now, guys, I'm just going to go through all of these and I'm going to pluck out all of the big stems, right? You see these big stems? We don't want them, and we toss them aside. Does anybody have any questions? You can ask me any cooking question that you would like whatsoever. And then I'm going to show you how to perfectly slice some beautiful cilantro. Okay? So just going through all of this, getting rid of all the big stems, getting rid of the stems. Excellent. Also, by the way, everybody, if you haven't already done so, please check out my Patreon. You can type in !Patreon in the chat if you would like to support what we do here. It is my dream to be able to one day do this full time, and any and all help is appreciated. Also, if you haven't already done so, check out my Discord, !Discord, or my YouTube to watch like VODs that you may have missed. Does this tearing the cilantro add more flavor? Dude, process. In fact, tearing the cilantro or crushing the cells, it'll immediately release flavor, but then over time it ends up losing flavor as it is exposed to oxygen. Okay? As it gets exposed to oxygen, it's just going to oxidize. Also, how many subs did we just get? What? Oh, is that another 10 gifted? Thank you so much to whoever gifted the 10 subs. That's so sweet of you. Thank you, thank you. Whoa. Guys, you guys are crazy today. I appreciate every single one of you. Okay. We're just going through all of this. Almost done. And again, it's fine if you have a couple of stems left over. I just don't love the texture of stems myself in my cilantro. Right, so like these big stems, get them out of here. Lovely. Okay, everybody, all that we need to do now, I'm going to show you. We don't chop these herbs. Chat, do we chop these herbs? I want to hear a nice resounding no, chef. We slice herbs in this household because when you chop things, when you go at it with a vertical motion, you end up crushing them. And when you end up crushing things like cilantro, it ends up exposing a lot more of the cells, it ends up exposing a lot more of the chlorophyll, okay? And it ends up losing its flavor over time. So all you want to do is you want to take all of your beautiful cilantro, you want to grab it, you want to hold it gently like a baby bird. That's what I do here. It's the same exact idea. Hold it like a baby bird, not so gently that it flies away, but not so firmly that you crush all of its brains out. And then you're going to take your baby bird and you're going to roll it up slightly, tuck its wings inside. And you're going to take your baby bird and put him down onto the cutting board, and then you're going to thinly, thinly slice him. And you're using a slice, the full length of your knife. Look how much space you have on a knife. Use the full length in your nice sharp knife and just pull it and pull it and pull it and pull it all the way through. And take it and bundle it back up and keep slicing that baby bird until you get your desired texture. And I'm looking for a fairly chunky salsa today, so I'm not going to do anything past this. If your cutting board ever seems wet or your herbs are sticking to the cutting board, you've ended up crushing your herbs instead. But look at this. Look how green they are. They're not turning dark green. They're not turning brown. Okay, this is just had a little bit more stem there. I'm just going to grab some of these other leaves. And I'm going to just continue to just slice all of it up. And there you go, guys. Look at that. Look how beautifully sliced my cilantro is. Not sticking to my cutting blade. It's not wet. My cutting blade isn't wet. How many times have you chopped cilantro or parsley and been like, oh wow, it's just sticking to my cutting blade and it's tasteless? This is what it's supposed to be like. Okay, that is exactly what it's supposed to look like. And I'm going to go ahead and just take my bench scraper. It has some dried masa on it. It'll be fine. I'm not scraping the masa off or anything. There you go, and that is some beautifully minced cilantro. Everybody, it is time for the moment that I, at least, have been waiting for, so hopefully you have been too. I have been building up a lot of anticipation for this. We no longer we have passed the need for a cutting board. Well, we will need it a little bit later, but we just don't need it right now at the second. Just gonna quickly wipe off my knife, keep it nice and dry. Okay, I'm just going to grab my knife, and I'm going to go ahead and set this thing aside. Alongside the wet paper towel, of course. So, number one rule, everybody, for the molcajete, to stop it from scratching the bottom of whatever surface that you might be grinding on, we're going to go ahead and set a little rag, just like a towel on the bottom. Okay? And this bad boy is my beautiful molcajete that has been cured. And by curing, I mean we went at it with a bunch of rice, with a bunch of salt, to basically smooth out the inside. Because it's so porous that the rock will end up flaking if you buy it from new, and you start using it from new. Okay, everybody. Oh, we have to go back to this. Excuse me, wrong camera. I apologize. Let's go ahead and move this pan aside. I have no more use for it. I'm just gonna let that cool down. Everybody, we're going to start. The beauty of a molcajete is you get to control what you're grinding down first. So these are all of my charred vegetables, okay? We're going to start by grinding down the garlic and the chilies. And the reason we start with those is because those are the ones that you want the most finely ground. We want to basically make like a little garlic chili paste. So I'm going to go ahead and collect every single one of my garlic cloves. Come on, buddy. Let's go. We're going somewhere. We're going to go on a little adventure today. Is that all of my garlic cloves? Excellent. And now, because I charred them with the skin on, the garlic cloves themselves just easily pop out of all of that skin. Okay? Well, some of them easier than others, I suppose. Ah, the tiny cloves are such a headache. This guy is not coming out. Okay, there we go. That's fine. If there's some excess skin, we'll go ahead and take that out anyhow. Like you see, we have a little bit of skin there. That's okay. So these are my roasted, delicious garlic cloves. Okay, there you go. Out they come. Every single one by one. Excellent. And the last one coming out now. And so guys, you never want to overcrowd your molcajete. We're going to go at things typically like one by one. The reason we're starting with all the garlic at once is because it is so tiny and it is so soft. The stuff just easily grinds on up. So we're just going ahead and we're getting rid of all of the garlic skins that we see that are remaining inside. Okay, and now guys, we're going to start with one of my jalapenos here. We're actually going to just start with two of these bad boys, I think. And the only thing I'm going to do really, really quickly is I'm just going to cut it up to size just so that it fits into my molcajete easily. So I'm just doing that on my cutting board that I set away. This is just going to make this process a little bit easier. So we're starting with the two jalapenos. Okay, and then we're going to add in a nice amount of salt. And the salt is going to act as a really nice abrasive in this case. Guys, I haven't used one in a really, really long time. I'm really excited about this. So we're adding in a nice amount of salt. It's going to be seasoning for the salsa later on. And then of course, it's going to help with the process of breaking it down. This, everybody say it with me, molcajetes are not for pounding. Are they for pounding? I want to hear a no, chef. These are not meant to be used like so. Molcajetes are for grinding at the end of the day. They're meant to grind things. And guess what? That is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take it and we're going to grind it against the edge. Right? We're using a twisting motion. We're going down and we're using the sides, we're using the surface area, and you can already see how much it just breaks down. And it's tearing apart the skin. It's shearing the skin. It's not just cutting the skin. And the garlic is turning into this beautiful paste. And we're taking it and we're running it alongside and we're crushing it all down. Beautiful. The only thing I want to do is I want to have like a nice little separate spoon that will let us clean up. I forgot what the pestle is called in Spanish. Okay. So all we're doing, everybody, we're going in here and we're grinding this and we're grinding it and we're grinding it up. Lovely. Okay, we're just going at this. We're going at it. And we're not looking for all of this to be like a super consistent puree. Of course, we're looking for it to still have some chunks in there. But what's really nice about a molcajete is that you can then just look at the solids. You can then just look at the chunks and decide, okay, you know what? I need to go ahead and give this piece a little bit of love. I need to go ahead and just crush him down. Okay, I need to move on to this one. That's just fine by me. And just crush it all down. Lovely. And it's going to take some time. You need technique. Okay, you need a bit of effort. I'm sorry that I can't get more lighting on this at the moment. But you're not smashing any of this. You're not crushing it. You're just grinding and grinding and grinding. And you can see really, really quickly it all comes together. Right? There is an incredible amount of flavor. That's it. We have the salt, we have the garlic, we have the chilies at the moment, and we're not adding in the tomatillos until last. Right now, we're just trying to go ahead and get all of this stuff nicely ground to then season the rest of the salsa. This is going to be a lot of effort. This is going to take quite a bit of time, guys. The better you get at it, of course, the faster it's going to be. And then just clean up the sides of it every now and then. Get back in the... Perfect. Still have some big pieces of jalapeno in there, so we want to go ahead and just keep on going, keep on processing all of these bad boys. A little bit easier than the rice I was doing previously to kill it, but this is still going to be a little bit of effort. And you don't want to hold it like this. You want to really be sort of getting like a pinch grip on it so that you get a lot more surface on it. There you go. And you can see, slowly but surely, it is beginning to form the base of a really, really lovely salsa for today. So I'm going to be just starting with the 2 jalapenos for now because I don't know. Well, I guess I can always just taste how spicy this is going to be. We can just taste this base paste, right? Oh. Already by itself, that's so good. I think we might actually go in with 1 more jalapeno, because that's actually not all that spicy. Jalapenos, they tend to be extremely variable in their spice. And molcajetes, they have a really, really nice, beautiful, earthy flavor to them as well. Ah, there you go, guys. That's what we're looking for. You can see it's all beginning to properly come together now. Just grind it all down. Beautiful. Ah, exhausting, actually. But we have a lot more salsa to go through, so we have no time to waste. We're going to go ahead and add in 1 more jalapeno that I'm just going to go ahead and chop up to make my life a little bit easier when we go ahead and add it on in. And again, guys, you can go as chunky as you would like. You can go as coarse as you would like here. So we're taking it, and then we're grinding it, and we're grinding it, and we're grinding it all down. Ah. And yes, most peppers are very variable. Jalapenos and serranos especially. Sometimes they taste basically like a green bell pepper, and sometimes they're a little bit more spicy than that. It really, really depends on the one that you get. Okay, let's go ahead and just scrape everything back on down. Exhausting. And yeah, it's okay if you don't really want it to be too chunky or anything. Also, guys, I wish you could see like more of it on the inside. I'm sorry that it's like so dark in here. You can always just use a blender for this if you would like. But the texture and the taste are just 2 very, very different products, right? Just cleaning up the sides of it every so often and getting it all back on in there. Whew. Kind of exhausting. But I'm going to build up this muscle over time. My right arm, I thought it was strong enough. But alas, it was not. But yeah, first thing, we just gotta go ahead and just now move it around a little bit. We're building slowly but surely just catch a piece and just drag it around. And we're building the salsa incrementally. Okay. Huh. Quite an endeavor I've chosen for you today, isn't it? Okay, honestly, I think that should be enough for my jalapenos. I still wanted some pieces in there. We're now going to go in with some of my onions. And then the final step is going to be the tomatillos. And then we're going to mix in. We don't want to grind in the cilantro. We just want to mix those in. So the onions, this is the one that I never want to have too much of in something like a salsa. Because I find that when you have too much of it, it ends up just becoming a little too, it just tastes too much like onions. This is the one that I'm always fairly conservative with in my addition to a salsa. So I'm only using about in total, like, a little over a quarter of an onion in here. And we're just going to add it in incrementally. So we're not adding in all of this onion at once. We're going to go ahead and set a little bit of it aside. And we're going to go ahead and just process and process and process and grind it and mix it along until all of that onion just breaks down into the salsa. Not conservative, you guys know what I mean. Also, some of the chili ended up getting on the spot where I burnt my finger. Not very pleasant, I will say. Ooh, that onion, when it dries out, it's a little bit papery, but now we can see that we have officially broken it down. Is that true? Is that a real thing? I don't know if that's real or not. That onions are actually, jalapenos are less spicy than they used to be. Okay guys, we're just going through all of this and you can see we have the formings of a really beautiful salsa here. And this is going to be the seasoning for the tomatillos. Right? Look at all of that. Excellent. I think the onions would also benefit from a little bit of salt. Sorry I'm whining so much about this process, guys. I just have to get stronger. I just have to get better at it. Just going through it all, getting it all done. Okay, we can go in with the next batch of onion. Go ahead. Ooh, spicy. Throw that inside. We're actually going to get in a little bit of salt in there just to really help with the process of the abrasion. And now, once again, guys, we're just looking to really grind down these onions. Take them back inside. There you go. I think this is just coming up a little too far on the edges of my molcajete. Just grinding it all down, guys. I know there's not that much more to add. It has been so long since I've had to do this. And it is something I want to get into the habit of doing, and I really want to adjust and really look into why I feel like my technique at the moment is so inefficient. But it also does there's some things in cooking that do just take time, right? Let's go ahead and clean off the pestle. Let's get that off there. There you go. Exhausting. Okay. In and out. And by the way, if anybody has any cooking questions, this would also just be a really nice time. It can be about this dish, it can be about anything else that you would like. I feel like this would be a really good time for something like that. Go ahead and scoop all that back down. I just still have like some of these massive chunks of onion that I'm really looking to make sure get somewhat processed into all of this. How do you make sure that you don't use too much salt? I mean, Jack, you just do it incrementally. You undershoot it by intuition, and then you taste it, and then you adjust it at the end. Yeah, onions are pretty robust. I am noticing that onions are maybe like the biggest headache here. So I'm considering maybe boiling them a little bit. Is there a difference between a molcajete and a moira and pestle? Yes, it depends on the material. Molcajetes are made, I believe this is from basalt, not really sure that's pronounced, and they're very, very coarse in nature. They're not for pounding, they're for grinding. That's their intended purpose. And so these onion skins, right, even though, whether the dried out like cooked onion here, it does seem pretty robust, with enough grinding, even the humble onion will succumb to the molcajete. Okay, just get it all back in there. I'm lazy too. This is not something that I'll be doing every day, but this is something that I just think will be a really, really nice addition to have in my home kitchen. I wonder all the other kinds of things I could be doing in a molcajete. Okay, almost processed. That's a little bit more of what we're looking for. And again, we're still looking for this to be a very nice chunky salsa, right? So we're not looking for this to be completely ground up and into oblivion. So that is a little bit more of the texture that I wanted. And seasoning it does prevent the gravel release. Yes, absolutely, Turina. That's why we season it. That's why we cure it. Right? Here's the molcajete. There's the salsa in there. Let's go ahead and scoop everything just back on down. Make sure that nothing is escaping. Lovely. If you do this correctly, guys, already that has such a beautiful taste and texture. That is already just so, so special. Okay, we're going to now go in with my tomatillos incrementally. I'm going to be basically adding them in 3 at a time. I just have my tomatillo halves, 3 at a time or so. I'm not going in with all of them at once. The tomatillos, you don't want to immediately squash them because they are, of course, full of liquid. And really, you're not looking to grind up the tomatillos as much as you are looking to just grind up the skin of the tomatillos. Okay? So that's what you're really looking for. You're looking to pinpoint those bad boys, and those are the guys that you're looking to really, really grind into submission. So don't worry about the flesh as much, guys. You're looking for that chunkiness. You're looking for that robustness. And now, the salsa verde is beautifully coming together. The tomatillo skin is splintering and breaking down. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, I'm being normal. I'm just using words in their intended contexts, okay? Stop it, chat. But yeah, the tomatillos are going in a whole lot easier than the onions did. Excellent. Let's go ahead and just take a look. Let's clean up this, see what the texture of this is like. Very nice. You still see though, I still have some like massive like chunks and pieces here. I'm just looking to process that down a little bit more. Oof. Yeah, you can do a few pulses of the food processor, and it's not going to be necessarily better or worse. It's just going to be a different texture overall. It's going to be different. And the taste is going to be quite different too. A lot of people definitely like mysticize it, but there is its own like natural earthy taste that a molcajete has. Let's go ahead and go in with the next batch of my charred tomatillos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. And we have to do one more thing of tomatillos. After this. So just take those skins, guys, and grind them up, grind them up, grind them up, grind them up. It's these skins that you want to really, really, truly process and get rid of here, okay? The salsa verde is coming together. The chilies, the onions, the garlic, all of that was the seasoning for it effectively. Nice. Take that and squash it down. Ooh. Exhausting. I'm going to wash my hands off slightly because the chilies keep getting onto the point where I ended up burning my fingers. We're getting there, guys. We have a few more tomatillos to go, and then we'll be done with the salsa de molcajete. We're going to add in a little bit more salt, again, to assist in abrasion, and we're just going to continue seasoning my lovely salsa. Okay, just go back in there. Process. Get all of it done. Curing it took like 3 times as long, so this is nothing for me in comparison. Oh, chat, I think I just have to have a little taste. Oh, that is so good. That is so special. Guys, that is such a delicious salsa. Already. Even though, that is exactly what I was going for. That is the exact taste that I was trying to recreate. This tastes so special, everybody. You have no idea how special this is. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Genuinely beautiful stuff. You have no idea the difference a molcajete makes versus a food processor blender. It is just an entirely different product. Okay, guys, I don't need that last jalapeno. I don't want it to be too jalapeno forward. We're just going to go in with the last of my tomatillos. All right, just get them on in there, and now let's just process these bad boys up. And again, you don't want to overcrowd your molcajete, okay? Could you use a food mill? Interesting question. I think a food mill intentionally discards things like the skins. So I would actually not use a food mill because I want the tomatillo skins. I want my chili skins. Although if you wanted it to be skinless, then I'm sure that you can. So guys, just going in there once again, grinding it up, getting all of this done. All right. You can still see we have these massive chunks of tomatillo inside. Just keep going at it. I wish this tool was a little bit longer. I'm finding it's a little awkward because of how short it is, but when it is this short, you are able to really get in there. Okay, we're processing, we're getting it done. Would you guys like to see me use this more on stream, by the way? I'm curious, like, all the different kinds of ways that I can use it. Like, one idea I already had was, like, to use it for something like a hummus. Using this for hummus, I think, would yield a really fun texture. Okay, guys, guess what? My lovely salsa has now come together. I'm just scraping up the sides one more time. We're going in there, we're just grinding all of it up. I still see I have some, like, big pieces of skin. There we go. That's it. Ah, lovely. Almost done, guys. Almost done. But this, I think for my first usage of the molcajete itself, I think I'm very proud of this. I think this came out really well for my first time. Or at least first time in 8 years I've had to use one of these things. There it is, guys. That is my salsa verde. And now, the very last addition is going to be a generous handful of some cilantro going inside, because you can't have a salsa verde without the cilantro. We don't really need to even use this tool anymore. We can just use a spoon to just mix all of this gorgeous stuff together. Chat, look at my salsa. Just mix it through. Mix it inside. That is a really beautiful salsa verde. Let's give it a taste. Oh my God. It is so simple. It is so simple. It was a lot of love, it was a lot of effort, but at its core, these ingredients are simple, and it's delicious, and it's acidic, and it's smoky, and it's sweet, and you get the garlic, and you get the onion. Guys, this salsa has so much flavor. This bad boy right here, it has so much flavor. It is ridiculous. I love this thing. This is my molcajete from Hacienda. Beautiful. Genuinely, really beautiful stuff. I'm just cleaning it up, getting all that stuff back inside. And we can just keep that inside for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and set that behind me. Everybody, we have concluded the salsa, and now it is time to do the final step, which is to cook the shrimp for the tacos. Everybody, I hope you've all been enjoying the stream so far. We're making homemade shrimp tacos completely from scratch. We made our own homemade tortillas. We just made a big, beautiful batch of salsa in a molcajete, using some tomatillos, using some chilies, using some garlic and some onion and some cilantro as well. The very last step is going to be finishing the preparation for my shrimp. I'm doing a garlic chili shrimp today to actually fill the tacos themselves. I am taking a second just to put a couple of things away and make sure I don't have as many things in front of me getting in my way as possible. Everybody, if you like what we do here, if you want to support what we do, please check out my Patreon, !Patreon, or scroll down into the About section, because it is my goal to teach you all how to cook full time. If you have any and all questions, now is also a really good time to ask me as we're getting set up and geared for the next stage. This I'm just gonna pop into my oven. Hopefully I won't forget about it. I no longer need this thing, and it is now also fully cooled down. And now we gotta get all the prep done for the shrimp, everybody. And then we're going to cook the shrimp, and then we're going to chop it up, and then we're going to go ahead and fill and assemble our tacos. So it's going to be really, really simple. How do you clean the molcajete? You just do water. You do water in a brush. You really need to brush it down. Okay? So let me go ahead and get my cutting board set up and ready to go. Okay, guys. So a little bit of prep left for us to do today. Okay? The last steps is actually just going to be, we need to go ahead and slice up some chilies. We need to go ahead and slice up some garlic, okay? That's all that we really gotta do at this point. So, we're making a little quick chili garlic shrimp, guys. We're going to sear the shrimp, we're going to add in the aromatics, and we're going to add in a little bit of oregano as well. We're only going to really need 1 to 2 garlic cloves, okay? And so for the garlic cloves, we're not actually using the garlic press today. All I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a slight smash, just like so, just to peel it off, because I'm gonna be slicing this garlic, because I want pieces of garlic in my shrimp. Okay, I don't want like a minced crushed garlic. I want to be able to properly bite into some like nicely cooked and sauteed garlic. Chef, what is the itty bitty knife? That's called a paring knife. And I'm choosing a paring knife because it's a very nice way to slice tiny things. And that's a very good point. G-Spent Gaming. I'm not really sure how to fully say that, but yes, that's an excellent point. Okay, guys, all I'm going to do, we're going to go down the length of each of these garlic cloves, and we're going to slice it really, really nice and beautifully and thinly. Just like so. What kind of paring knife? I'm not sure what you're asking me. This is my Suisun Inox knife. It is a very cute knife, right? So just going through all this garlic. This might seem like a lot of garlic for this amount of shrimp, and guess what it is? I just really, really like garlic. Okay, guys, all I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to take the garlic. In fact, I'm just going to use my bench scraper instead of whatever this is, and put it inside. Lovely. Okay, next step is I have a couple of chilies here that I wanted to use up. All right, so the chilies, I'm just going to cut the tops off, and then we're going to just slice this down because I'm looking for a really nice, beautiful, spicy shrimp today, guys. So these are just 2 bird's eye chilies that I had left over. And I'm not using my gloves for this because I'm not very smart. Okay, 2 sliced up chilies, seeds and all. And then the very last step, first I'm actually just going to go ahead and clean up the surface. Okay, we're going to start heating up that pan. We're going to start heating it up on a medium heat. We want a nice even heat on it. And then we're going to just lightly sear the shrimp with a little bit of olive oil. Okay, so we're just heating up the pan on medium. You can heat it up with or without the olive oil. I don't love heating up the olive oil alongside the pan because I find that it gets a little bit rancid. Or it just starts to get a little bit more burnt tasting. Okay, last thing that we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to take out a separate container. Well, actually, I have 2 more steps. We're going to do the oregano. Hello, Rattles. Welcome on in. We made the tortillas. We made the salsa. This is the last step now. We're going to go in with a little pinch of oregano, and then we're going to do the lime juice directly in here. I didn't actually get my citrus press out as I wanted to. Guys, if you haven't already done so, I highly recommend investing in a citrus press because you get so much more juice out of it and it's so much easier to actually work with, okay? I also don't love adding lime juice in my salsas. I like having them in other portions. We're only going to need about a half a lime's worth of juice, and the rest of it I'm going to save for garnishing reasons, okay? So this bad boy right here, this is just going to go on my plate with the tacos themselves. And then this bad boy is just going to go face down. I'm going to add these limes behind me. Have no use for them at the moment. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to press it down. And again, I love having a citrus press because it can get really, really cumbersome doing this by hand all the time. Especially if you have more than just half a lime's worth of juice. But for this dish, half a lime for the amount of shrimp that I have is gonna be plenty. Okay, I'm not making that much shrimp today. I only have like 6-7 pieces of shrimp. So it's just going to be basically enough for one taco or so. Okay, so that's all the prep that we needed to do for these shrimp tacos. And I already have my shrimp essentially dry brining with a little bit of salt. I have some oregano and lime juice. I have some chilies and garlic. And so the order of operations is as follows. We're going to get a good sear on the shrimp. We're going to get some nice color on it. Then we're going to go in with the chilies and the garlic because we want those to fry up. And then we're going to finish it off by putting in the lime juice and the oregano as well. We no longer need the citrus press. We have advanced past the need for one. Okay, I'm just going to take a second to clean up, guys. And then into the heated up pan, we're now going to add in a little bit of olive oil. We don't need too much olive oil. We just need enough that the shrimp, doesn't really stick or anything and helps to get like a really nice color on it. Okay, so to the stove we go. All right, I have my shrimp that has been sitting with a little bit of salt in the fridge. I'm going to just go ahead and take that out now. And we're going to add in a splash of olive oil. You don't need this olive oil to be like super smoking hot, but slightly smoking will do just fine. Add it in there, let it heat up nicely. We're going to go ahead and get our tongs ready as well for this. And again, I don't have a lot of shrimp, so what we're going to do is we're going to sear the shrimp, and once it's cooked, we're then going to chop it up. I don't love having pre-chopped meat when it goes onto a super hot pan like this, especially with shrimp, because it already cooks so quickly. I much prefer cooking it first, letting it rest, and then chopping it up. It really lets us get a super, super juicy piece of shrimp that way. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and keep, these are my 2 seasonings for the shrimp. I'm going to keep that back there, nice and behind us. I'm going to make sure that we have a plate to go ahead and put this on after it is done. And this is going to be the plate where we make the tacos. So again, we're just heating up the olive oil. We're getting it nice and hot. I like heating up my pans on a medium heat over a long period of time to make sure that it's all evenly heated. Especially thin stainless steel pans like this, they easily develop hot spots. And when you develop hot spots, you're going to get parts that are a little cold and parts that are a little hot, as the name might suggest. So now, guess what? My olive oil seems to now be slightly smoking. It's beginning to shimmer. This is a good point for us to go ahead and add in the shrimps. We're just going to go in one by one. Start laying them in, and we don't want to touch these for the first 45 seconds because in these first 45 seconds, that's when they might stick, but they will naturally and easily unstick over time. So we lay them in clockwise so we know the order in which we actually put them onto the pan. So I disagree with that. I think you absolutely can cook citrus. I want a half-cooked citrus. It's not going to be cooked down. It's not going to be boiled down. It's going to be added at the end. We're going to get a half-cooked citrus flavor. And we're still going to garnish with some raw lime on top. So G-Span Gaming, yes, you end up losing some flavors and then you end up developing other ones. You absolutely can cook with citrus. You just end up getting a different product out of it at the end of the day. But we're not boiling it down. We're not reducing it down. We're just finishing it with the citrus and the oregano. Okay? So you don't have to worry about that too much, as some would lead you to believe. And so, we only really want to keep this for about a minute or 2 per side. We don't need to cook the shrimp to death, okay? So you can already see, it's developing some nice color on it. Let's go in, and let's give it a nice little flip, right? Got nice and beautifully like orange on it. There we go, nice even color all the way around. It's not picking up with these tongs today. And it's going to stick a little bit, guys, and if it sticks, just give it another second, okay? And it will naturally unstick from the pan. And we're going to give it another second now, and then we're going to add in the chili and the garlic. The reason we don't add the chili and the garlic in the beginning is because it would end up burning by the time that the shrimp was done. We still want the chili and garlic to go into the fat. We're going to mix it all around. It's going to be lovely. You just want to go ahead and give this a second. Let this cook, let this go, let it do its thing. You're looking for the inside pinkness to, of course, be gone. You're looking for it to curdle up. Everybody, are you ready for these tacos? Are you ready to see how these tacos come out today? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. So we're getting some good color on it. They're starting to fully cook through. Okay? They're a little bit stuck. And again, they will just naturally unstick if you give them the time and the opportunity in which to do so. We're developing some really, really beautiful color that way. And the lime juice is also going to effectively help to deglaze the pan simultaneously, okay? That's what it's going to do. So we're making this really, really delicious chili garlic shrimp. And we're going to chop it all up, and then it's going to go into the taco. I don't love having whole shrimp in my taco because all of it ends up falling out. So I love searing it, resting it, and then chopping it up. Okay? So now that we've given it a second, the shrimp has started to naturally detach from the pan. There will always be some amount of stickage, right? Because some of the proteins will end up getting dissolved in the liquid in which it cooks. We have no longer any more use for these tongs specifically. We can now go ahead, go in with a spoon, add in all of the chilies and the garlic. All of that stuff just going inside now, guys. And now we're just going to go ahead and stir the whole thing around. The pan is going to be a little bit dry. The shrimp has taken on, the shrimp has taken on as much fat as it needs. You're seeing all of the stickage at the bottom. That's all of the proteins. We just want to fry the garlic. We want to fry the chilies for like a good second. Okay? So that we don't have any raw taste, so it's not just boiled chili, so it's not just boiled garlic. And now we go in with the lime juice and the oregano. And now because we've done it in this order, we're able to go ahead and just scrape everything off the bottom, or at least most of it. And I'm not looking for like any sauce on it or anything. I'm just looking for most of it to reduce. I'm looking for most of it to be gone. I'm just looking to heat the oregano through. And that is it. That is my really, really simple, really, really basic chili garlic shrimp. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and scoop that out onto my plate. It smells. Woo! The chilies have entered the atmosphere. So they have, they're getting into my nose and everything. But yeah, that is now a fully, a fully cooked through beautiful piece of shrimp. We're now just letting it rest, everybody. That's it. That's all that we really needed to do for it. That's all that we needed to do for the shrimp. It was just really, really quick, really, really easy. So guys, I'm going to go ahead, throw a couple of things into the dishwasher while I have a... Accident. I did not mean to go to the end scene. My fault. Guys, we're now going to assemble the tacos. I'm going to walk you through every single component that we have made today thus far. Oh, man, anytime I cook with chilies like that, brutal. Yeah, that is brutal. They're just in the air at the moment. I gotta stop doing that like ASAP. Just throwing some stuff into my dishwasher while I have a second. We're letting the shrimp rest. Guys, we have made, it's the chilies, excuse me. We have made every single component for today's shrimp tacos completely from scratch. We have made some homemade tortillas. We have made some salsa in a molcajete. Let me show you the salsa one more time before we plate. Okay? Let me show you this thing. It's really, really beautiful. We're letting the shrimp rest before we chop it up. Guys, hello? Why is it not working today? Okay, I gotta reset my keyboard. My keyboard was being all silly. Oh, look at the salsa. Look at this gorgeous, beautiful salsa that we have today. And this is all going to go into the taco as well, of course. The shrimp has been fully and beautifully cooked through. Okay, this is the money shot. I'm gonna keep this on the table when we end up plating everything. So we're letting the shrimp rest for just another second, and then I'm just going to chop it through. Again, I don't love chopping my shrimp before I cook it because I want to get some good color before it overcooks. If you chopped it beforehand, it would end up immediately cooking, and to develop any kind of color meaningful browning, you would end up overcooking and getting your shrimp to be completely dry. So we're letting it rest for just another second, and then we're going to go ahead and cut it up. But in the meantime, everybody, I want to also show you my homemade corn tortillas. Look at these things. Look at these things. Beautiful. Look at the color on that. That is what I'm talking about. These red corn tortillas, absolutely gorgeous. Completely from scratch, just using 2 ingredients. Everybody, if you're not already in the habit of making your own homemade tortillas, then you are making a mistake. Okay, we have given the shrimp proper time to rest. Everybody, it is now time for us to go ahead and take it and to slice it up. Okay. I'm just looking to roughly chop it up into something that can then fit into the taco, and they're fully cooked through on the inside, nice and bouncy. They're dry brine, so they should be fully seasoned. Oh, that's a good shrimp. We're just going to go through every single one of these shrimps, one by one. Doesn't have to be perfect, just something that will fit into a taco nicely. There we go. My chili, garlic, oregano shrimp. Really, really quick. Just took a few seconds to just throw it all together. There we go. Last one. And that's it. That is now ready to go, guys. And this is not going to be hot for too much longer, so we just want to go ahead, scoop it back up, put it onto the plate. Let's go ahead and start assembling in just a second. I do want to wash off my knife, though, because my knife is a carbon steel knife. And so if I leave this thing unattended and wet by itself for too long, it can and will rust. So I'm just going ahead and I'm cleaning that up now. Drying it off now. Everybody, please bear with me. We are about to assemble these really, really beautiful tacos. Is everybody excited? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. Please and thank you. It is not an option. It is time for us to assemble. I'm about to show you how beautiful a homemade taco can be. Okay? Everything given a lot of love, a lot of care, a lot of attention to detail. So, let's go away with the cutting board. We no longer need this. Beautiful. My red corn tortillas. Look at that. Now, we're going to go ahead and just take a nice spoonful of my beautiful chili, oregano, garlic, lime. Go ahead and fill each of these tacos up. Okay. Plenty of shrimp in each one. And yeah, it's about like you want to do like 2 to 3 shrimp per taco on average. Okay. So go ahead, get that. Assemble that like so. There we go. And now, let's go ahead and go in with the star of the show today, everybody. My salsa de molcajete. Where is my towel? I have my towel somewhere. Well, we're not gonna grind on this table, so it'll probably be okay if we just put it on as is. So, I know it looks unassuming right now because it is still currently lacking the salsa. This is my salsa verde de molcajete. Let's go ahead and get a nice, beautiful dollop on every single one of these tacos, huh? Let's actually move this aside a little bit. Nice, beautiful dollop. Going to the center. This taco is all about the salsa today. Okay, so be nice and generous with it. We put in a lot of effort, a lot of care into every single one of these. That's good. Okay, and now, the very last step, we're going to take a little bit of lime because you can't have a taco without some additional lime. Just go ahead and put that around my plate. It is the specialty masa low. Thank you for purchasing it, by the way. That is indeed the specialty masa that we got. And then finally, because we don't have enough greenery on this, let's do a little bit more cilantro on top. Everybody, these are my completely homemade shrimp tacos from scratch. We made the tortillas ourselves using that heirloom Masiendo red masa. Just some corn and some water, really simple, really, really beautiful. We made this incredible salsa de molcajete using tomatillos, some chili, some garlic, and some onions, and we ground it up ourselves. Full of flavor, full of cilantro, delicious. Look at that texture. And then we also made some chili, garlic, oregano shrimp. Okay, spicy, a little bit sweet, a little bit chewy, a little bit toothsome. Everybody, let's go ahead and have ourselves a nice little taste, huh? And look at those tortillas. Homemade, flexible, fresh, and delicious. Cheers. Guys. Oh, that is the best salsa I've made. That is incredible. Doesn't even need a lime juice, has plenty of acidity. Guys, this is a serious taco. This is something that you should be making. Look at this thing. Everything from scratch. I'm very proud of ourselves. I think we've outdone ourselves today. Everybody, that's going to just about do it for the stream. Next stream is going to be tomorrow, 5 p.m. EST. I'm going to be off this Friday and this Sunday. I'm going to be posting the new schedule. But tomorrow is going to be the next stream. So we have a special Thursday stream. We're doing a back-to-back. I don't know what we're doing yet. Everybody, thank you for being here. If you haven't already done so, please check out my Patreon, ! Patreon, or scroll down and go into the About section or something. I want to be able to do this full time. I want to teach you all how to cook. And so any and all help would be really appreciated. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single last one of you. Thursday tomorrow, 5 p.m. EST. I hope you all have an excellent rest of your Wednesday nights. Thank you so much for pulling through. And Lysergic, we'll talk about that later. I don't have any more time right now to actually answer that. I just want to sign off. I'm sorry. Okay, everybody. Good night. Thank you all. Thank you all for the raid, of course. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you, Audio Murphy and Slow, for being able to make this stream possible. And yeah, good night. Bye-bye.